And that dives us right into the second ladies fight on this preliminary card. It's another bantamweight bout. We got somebody we just mentioned in Karol Rosa taking on Joselyne Edwards. Karol Rosa comes in with 13-3 record. We did just talk about her and her defeat on Procopio back in 2019. Since then, she's fought once. She fought Vanessa Melo in 2020, won that one by unanimous decision. That is pretty much her UFC career. She's gone 2-0 in there after making her debut back in 2019. On the flip side, we have Joselyne Edwards, super exciting prospect. She really impressed me in that victory against Yanan Wu not too long ago. I think that was just last month. That was a very impressive victory, and it was actually kind of a cool story to see, just following her on Instagram and stuff, her receiving that call, that excitement to get on the plane, that kind of stuff. It was really cool. So I'm excited to see if she can follow that up with, another exciting performance here. What do you see here?
Yeah, exactly what you kind of said about Joselyne Edwards, right? Like, she was such a highly touted, female fighter going into this. Even if you go look at Tapology, they actually have her ranked at number 19 for the MMA Fighter of the Year for 2021. So it's kind of interesting. Wow. Like you mentioned the Wu Yanan fight. I mean, even for me, like, that was such a great performance. And there was one thing that stood out for me very much. She was kind of a slow starter, but 46 significant strikes landed in rounds 1 and 2 combined. Then she goes 40-193 in round 3. So she really does kind of pick it up. It's almost one of those things where you kind of want to see this woman go 5 rounds just to see what she can really do. Maybe we're looking at a female Max Holloway, baby. Let's go. But the reach will be such a great advantage there. I think that's one area where, if she can avoid some of the power that's going to be thrown her way, that's really going to be, kind of her place to just execute, and make the fight hers. The thing about Rosa that I love is when you watch her fight against Melo, especially, like, the jab just looks so good. That it's just a really good left jab, and she follows it up with good head movements, so she can kind of find other strikes. She seems to follow it up a lot with those leg kicks, like we mentioned. That's on that split decision debut. That's kind of how she stole that fight. I think there's really good things to kind of note, but like you said, 2 fights since 2019 against Melo. It was really kind of the coming out party. You saw her really take over in the second round. She kind of maybe got a bit tired, but I still think that, the execution was there. The accuracy was there. She was just the better striker overall. And that's where I think, like, picking your shots, avoiding the momentum going the other way, because as the fighter that might be a little bit thicker and might not have the speed advantage, say, for the whole fight even, it's just one of those things where you want to be able to kind of be your best all 3 rounds, especially when the other person is going to be longer and potentially faster.
Absolutely. And so before we, dive into these lines here, anything else you want to touch on? Or are you ready to give me a nice prediction here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm ready to go. I think without question, you kind of have to give the edge to Joselyne Edwards. I think there's just got to be enough of a hype train going about her. I think Rosa's shown enough to not warrant something like a -400, but maybe it is. Who knows these days, right? But right now, I think I've convinced myself of increasing my line by a few points. So maybe I'll go to a -290 for Joselyne Edwards.
So, when I was looking at this fight, I kind of had the same feeling as you, which, was just confirmed by your line here, that the wrong person is favored here, man. And I don't know if we haven't seen enough on Joselyne Edwards or whatnot, but, Karol Rosa actually comes in at a -225 favorite.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing, right? The tape speaks volumes. Like, she's just shown to be the better fighter. And that's what I mean, right? Like, I was very much going on what I believe the Vegas hype would be. And that's for, like, I'm going to be completely honest. Like, this line does not shock me because of that reason. Like, my lines are fundamentally based on what I think Vegas is going to be putting them at. And you know what? I really don't. It doesn't shock me. You got a 2-0 fighter over the course of 2 years showing that she's getting even better. The striking is very crisp. We talked about the head movement. Like, these are the things that get you to the next level, And the big thing with Karol Rosa, I believe, if we go back, like, if you look at the fighters even that she was supposed to fight, like Julia Alvia, like these are Sijara Eubanks, these are fighters that we kind of talk about in a big way over the last year. So I think that's where you're kind of seeing, like you said, like the reasons for maybe the line skewing that way. I think I'm just giving too much of a hype to the hype that might have happened from one fight.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so in terms of, leans, do you have a play on this one? Do you see value on Joselyne? Is this,
What
potentially
are the
another
over?
stay
So that
away
like
here?
let's actually talk about over unders. Like, well, what are they? I'm just curious.
All right, let's look this up. So, Joselyne Edwards, she comes in at a plus 187 dog in this one. The under 1.5 is plus 333. The under 2.5 is plus 200. The fight to not go the distance is plus 175.
You know what, man? I can't not think about a sprinkle on Joselyne Edwards. We can revisit this a little bit later as the fight approaches, but I'm a little bit concerned about that. And here's the thing: my biggest differential was fundamentally that if Rosa can be the quick starter, I think that's where you can kind of put Edwards off for a game, because frankly, maybe it was UFC debut jitters, but she just really turned it up as the second round kind of took over. But I think that seemed to be just a very easy way to maybe kind of dictate the fight if Yanan wasn't in the same place of maybe just not being able to execute right away. But we'll see how that one goes, and keep an eye on those weigh-ins.
Sounds good, man. That wraps up UFC Vegas 18. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button underneath. We have all of our information: Instagram, Twitter. Give us a follow. That's where all our picks are going to go up. Closer to Saturday, we'll have a bunch of content going up. So make sure you give us that subscribe, lock that in. Anything else, Siraj?
That is all, my friend. Always a pleasure. Glad to get it rolling again. Let's get it. With these lines, we better
Always
get
a pleasure,
going.
dude. Take care. You got it. Peace out.